The NBA supposedly laid down the hand of God on the Houston Rockets and finally came down with some suspensions. Now, needless to say, they completely missed the boat. The NBA missed the boat on the discipline to give to the Houston Rockets. Trevor Ariza got 2 games and Gerald Green got 2 games. Nothing for James Harden, nothing for Chris Paul. Right then and there, you see the bias by the NBA for their star players. You see that they completely missed the boat to send a message to the rest of the league. We're not going to tolerate violence on the court, and we're not going to tolerate violence off the court in terms of going to the locker room and going to the bus like Carmelo Anthony did a few years ago.
Both guys getting the technical. Well, Carmelo let it spill over to after the game. You see him in the red hat right there waiting alongside the Celtics team bus for Kevin Garnett. Carmelo told KG during the game he would see him after the game, and he was not lying at all.
And that's the thing that really bothers me. Carmelo Anthony basically set the precedent, not for a locker room, but just going to the opposing team's side post-game. Carmelo Anthony went to the bus looking for some trouble, and they gave Carmelo Anthony a 1-game suspension. Just by going. Well, James Harden, Chris Paul, Trevor Ariza, and Gerald Green went, but how come only 2 guys get a suspension? Come on, NBA, you gotta do way better than that. Just because Chris Paul is the president of the Players Association and James Harden is a star player doesn't mean you can't hand them down suspensions. It's ridiculous. You have to suspend the guys when they do something wrong. Point blank, period. Like you saw with the New York Knicks, guys stepped on the court and they missed the playoff game. So it is what it is. You have to be consistent, and you have to be 100%, accurate when you're handing down these suspensions. Here's the worst part about this. The Houston Rockets are upset. Some people from the Houston Rockets are upset that nobody on the Clippers got a suspension. Why should anybody on the Clippers get a suspension? What did they do? What did they do?
Hey.
What I did?
Huh?
What I do?
Austin Rivers is talking smack. He's on the bench talking smack in street clothes. Plenty of guys do that all the time. Even hecklers in the crowd talk smack all the time. Matter of fact, Klay Thompson got one of the hecklers ejected during the Bucks game.
Something that was said to him down there.
He turned, the Warriors reacting to something in the stands, whether it was something said or did somebody do something physical. He's there. You see the security talking to that gentleman, and I think they're going to escort him out. He's gone. The Bradley Center security.
So it's just like, come on, guys. You gotta do better than that. You gotta be more consistent than that. And you have to show that it doesn't matter if you're a star player, if you're a regular player, we're gonna treat you all the same. It's just like if you're a star player in the league and you're making a little extra cash, they're gonna be the more lenient on you. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Like, I'm really disgusted with the NBA and how they make Trevor Ariza the scapegoat and Gerald Green the scapegoat, when the whole 4 of them, James Harden, Gerald Green, Chris Paul, and Trevor Ariza, were all culpable. And here's what bothers me: Chris Paul was the only guy that knew the layout of the Los Angeles Clippers, the locker room. Now, what some say that you can say this: since Trevor Ariza played for the Los Angeles Lakers, it's the same arena. Maybe he knew that. But at the end of the day, Chris Paul, he knows the most recent layout. So he knows the most recent layout. To me, he should have got at least 3 games. You know what I'm saying? So it's just you have to send a stone cold message. They need to have a committee for discipline, not just like one guy. I remember a few years ago, Kiki Vanderway, when they suspended Draymond Green or whatever in the NBA Finals. Like, it can't be just left up to one guy. They have to have a committee of 5 people, and it almost has to be judiciary. And they have to have a logbook of discipline, and then they have to look at, we have the precedence of Carmelo Anthony. Since Carmelo Anthony just went there, he got a game. All those guys that just went to the locker room should get a game or 2, because this sets a new precedent. You know what I'm saying? So if all 4 of them went, all 4 of them should have got suspension, because they're all riding and dying for each other, right? So at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, I'm really disappointed. I know the D'Antoni and Daryl Morey pleaded with the NBA like, hey, look, man, we got these star players, they got these games coming up, and NBA thought the same thing. We got these games coming up. People want to see their favorite players. We can't suspend them, guys. We can't suspend Chris Paul and James Harden. You know, it's gonna hurt our pockets, and you know we're gonna start an uproar or whatever. But even with this decision, it's not hard enough. Basically, pause. It's not a great form of discipline to tell a guy, if you're a star player, you could just get away with murder. And we all know that show, How to Get Away with Murder, how that's messy. So, this is Vlad with Hoops Junction, where Hoops meets Hoopla. Peace.